Hi, and welcome to Tate Talk. My name is Barry Tate, and I'm here with Dakota Lavada. And Dakota and I are going to talk about social media.
Yeah.
So, Dakota, there's three main types of ways that we do social media.
Mm-hmm.
Can you sort of give me a brief overview of those?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, we want people to understand the theory in which and how we do social. We want people to understand, the training aspect and how we can teach people what we do. And then there's also the A to Z, which that's doing all of it. There's always that option to do it with someone.
So basically, we have three ideas where, in theory, we can you can listen to this podcast and get some tips and try to do it yourself. We can train you how to use some software to do it, or we can do it all for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's benefits to all three of those.
Yeah, it definitely depends on, how much time you have. If you're really interested in it, if you don't have much time with it to be able to do it yourself.
And I think it has to do with also if you have a budget or not.
Yes, definitely.
Either you have more time than money or more money than time.
Right.
And, we're here to help you either way with tips and tricks or with training or doing it for you. Let's speak to the doing it for you part that we've worked with a lot of different companies to help them do their social media.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
First and foremost, we have to create a strategy. From there, we create the content, either that's photography or video, and then we do the posting, the writing, the scheduling. So as far as what part of those three things do you think is the hardest to do?
The hardest, I would say the part that people take, how do I want to say, that they don't, not that they don't understand the most, but that it really is harder or takes more time than people think, is when we like to front load a lot of the content. That takes a long time and a lot of planning on our part, from the writing aspect to the scheduling, to just getting all the content itself. I mean, that's I would think you would agree that probably takes the longest.
Right, and I think for the people that are watching this, what we mean by front loading is basically planning out all your social media content for a year. So that means if you're posting once a week, twice a week, it could be 52, 104 posts,
Yeah.
or more. I think a lot of these posts can be what we call evergreen.
Mm-hmm.
So tell the audience what an evergreen post is.
Yeah, so an evergreen kind of post is something that you can post that doesn't have to be necessarily timely. So let's say, you have a important person coming into your office that certain day. That kind of thing isn't evergreen. That's more of a post that you would need done that day or the next. Well, evergreen is more of things that you can use whenever you want.
Right, so things like human resource video.
Yeah.
Or a company values video.
Right, or a website video, or things like that.
Yeah, different things that are not as timely that they've got to be out right away.
Right. You can use them over time.
Right, and then you have things that are sort of spur of the moment. They come up and you're like, oh, we had this person celebrate a retirement.
Right.
Or we went to this trade show and you want to take the picture or the video and you want to get it out as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the way that we really have our strength in is making content that is evergreen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we can train you to do some of your own posts, that you take a quick picture and this is how you schedule it, this is how you write it.
And some of that stuff could be a lot more of the timely things, because if you're hiring us, we're not there every single day, so we're not able to understand if something big happens in the office that we might not know about. That's the benefit of the training aspect, where if something does happen and you're like, oh shoot, we need to get this on social today or tomorrow, then that would benefit you in that way.
Yeah, but I think it's also good to have a bunch of evergreen
Yes.
social that we can schedule out, that if there isn't something that is spur of the moment, you still have a post that's getting out there.
Exactly.
I think one of the main things about social media is that it needs to be consistent.
Yes. Yep.
You can't take a break for 3 months and then come back and
Right, and that's hard to do, but as much time as front loading takes, it really is worth it at the end of the day.
yeah, I think that this is the way to go for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about it and think about every week, what am I going to post?
Right. Let me ask you this. This is a really good question that we've been kind of talking about recently. What would you say to the people that, we front load, let's say they do 1 or 2 posts a week and we front load all of it, and people say, well, does it just get forgotten if it's scheduled out 52 weeks, and is it like a leave it and forget it thing? What would you say to those people? Because it's a genuine good question.
Well, I think that it's beneficial because it's consistent, and the algorithm likes that you're showing up week after week.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to be combined with some variety. We like to do videos.
Yeah.
And I think videos can touch people at a deeper emotion
Definitely.
and a connection than a photo. They might, the photos might be doing a little bit better with the engagement and the likes. But as far as setting it and forgetting it, I think that's a good thing, actually, because you're trying to run your business.
Right.
And you need to focus on running the business, not on being a media company that's getting content out there.
That's a good point. And I think people often think of it as leave it and forget it, but it really isn't that, because if we, if you hire us and we're doing your social and we front load it throughout the entire year, if people comment and people ask us certain questions about it, we're not just not going to see it. You know what I mean? We
Right.
have it on our LinkedIn. We still look at it throughout the week, and we are making sure that we're not missing anything during the week.
Well, I think the other part of doing what we call in the social media hustle, and what we mean by that is that we engage with posts, we like other people posts, we
Yeah.
share stuff. I think that's the social part of being social.
Mm-hmm.
So speak about that, because you've been doing that a lot for Tape Media.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Like you mentioned, it's the social part of social media. You have to interact with people. You can't just be on LinkedIn and not talk to anyone, nothing like that. I mean, that's the whole point of a social network, no matter if it's LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or whatever it might be. The whole point is to network within it.
I think that would be like going to a business after 5 event, going there, you showed up, you're there,
Right.
but if you don't talk to anybody,
Right, you did the first step, that's great, but right, you have to take that next step.
so, and then too, I think we need to speak about social media's role in overall marketing.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that earlier, and I think a lot of people believe that social media is the end all of be all, And it's very important, but you
Mhm.
still have to have a good website
Yeah.
that is going to help close it. You still have to reach out to people in person. You still have to write proposals, sell, take meetings, phone calls, emails. It's
Right.
it's not going to do it all for you, but you really can't not do it today.
Exactly.
You cannot not be on social media because that's where you push out the content and people are going to see you before they search for you. And frankly, people like to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
They like to know what you're about. They like to know what your culture is like and what your values are. People like to see you and know that they're dealing with a human being that is on the other end of the website or the business. And I think people need to just not be afraid to be on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, for so many years I hid behind the camera, and now I realize that that's not the best way to go. You need to make a podcast, you need to make an interview, you need to make videos such that people will see you and get to know you, like you, trust you,
Right.
and do business with you.
Yeah, definitely. And we know it's hard to be in front of a camera. It's like speaking to an audience. It's hard. People feel that, and I understand it. But even with you, you said you like to be behind the camera for so many years. Is it true that the more you do it, it helps you? That's how I think of it.
Yeah, I think the more that I've done the podcast, and I would produce podcasts for other people, but now that we have this Tate Talk,
Yeah.
it's a little bit, you get a little self-conscious. Is my hair right? Am I talking right? Did I wear the right shirt? But you just have to do the best you can, and you'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of practice.
Right, and that includes using, that includes making content of what you're doing. Even I know sometimes people can only use their cell phones for things like that as well, and just practice into it. That's the
Right.
best strategy for that.
Yeah, I think that people often too look at social media and think there's going to be this immediate reaction that people are going to just start to flood your inbox with leads and such. It takes time.
Yeah, definitely.
It takes a lot of time to get people's attention, and you need to try different things. It's a game of attrition where you have to outlast the other person. And we've been doing this. You've been here for 4 years, and you've seen a lot of changes, from the set to the equipment to different styles that we've been doing. So
Yeah.
speak to about how it was, say, 4 years ago, and how we've evolved.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so when I first started, I remember it just being, we have to figure out what we want to post, and I think it's important also to never get stuck so much in a box where, I have to only do this, I only have to do this.
Right.
It's so, even if you do something that works well, still do other things. You don't want to put yourself in such a box where you can only post the same thing how many different times. You still want to evolve your content and change things where it's necessary and where it helps. But I even remember from talking about, what are we going to post? What should we be posting? We have to make sure we're consistent. To now, when you look at our social, we are very consistent. Even going from different sets of how we wanted to do videos for social and podcasts, and we've come a long way from day one.
Right. I think there's different softwares and different
Yeah.
techniques of shooting video or photography, for that matter.
Yeah.
And the kind of content that you post varies from person to person, and whether or not that's more video, photography, graphics,
Right.
audio. It really is a wild, wild west of whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And then you try things, see how they turn out, and see if it gets people's attention. I think that even within the editing style, I wonder about trying different speeds. Do I jump cut things? Do I let the conversation just flow?
Right.
And I think it's somewhat relatable to what platform that you're on.
I was just gonna say that it depends on the platform you're on too. So much of social too is trying different things, researching different things, and just seeing what sticks and what doesn't, and being able to adapt to different platforms, to different industries of who we work with, and everything.
Right. And I think it boils down to also is finding your voice.
Yeah.
I think you have to be authentic in the sense that we're not putting on a show here. This is who we are. This is what we talk about.
Right.
This is the cadence of my voice. I'm not going to speed it up just to make me sound over the top. I'm not a caricature of who I am. I'm the same person as I am sitting in this chair as I would be talking in a meeting.
Yeah. And I think that's for all of us. For me, you, Cody, and Amanda. It's, you could come in here on a random day and we're gonna be exactly who we are on camera.
Right. I think that's important because that goes back to the word being authentic. And people want to deal with people that are honest, that not only can deliver what they promise, but do it with integrity.
Yeah, and that even I think that even comes down to what your social looks like, and putting real people in your company on your social and your website, and anything you can authenticate about your brand, you do that. So one thing we like to talk about is humanizing your brand. Can you talk a little bit more about what we mean by that?
Yeah, it's a motto that we picked up about a year or two ago. So it's humanizing your brand with video, because we think video is the best way to really get a feel for what a person's like. I think that photos are great, graphics are great, but there's just something about hearing someone's voice and seeing their body language as they interact with you that is authentic. You tell the story and you get the emotion, the inflection of your voice, either high or low or fast or slow. I mean, that's what makes us uniquely human.
Right.
Is how we communicate. And at the end of the day, video is the most powerful media to communicate complicated theories or ideas, to communicate a story of struggles where you have overcome things, or and then just not being so highly edited that it looks fake.
Yeah.
I think that the podcast is great because it is a little bit slower paced environment. Even if we sort of cut this into shorts, I think that if you're going to want to watch this, you're going to sit through and try to find the nuggets. We will do the editing to sort of cut out the gold nuggets of this talk. You can watch the full video and see that we've gone through this back and forth, but let's talk about the sum of the video, a longer video being cut into shorts, being really the value added that then becomes the social media clips that then drive people to your website or to call you.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, first and foremost, it gives you 3 different types of media to use. And secondly, you want to get as much people's time as possible. So, like you said, if someone wants to watch the entire podcast length, that's great. If you have the time to do that, that's awesome. But we understand people's time is valuable.
Right.
So we want to be able to get those, like you said, those nuggets, those really good pieces out of the podcast. We want those to be, medium, short, medium timed as well. If you want to understand a complete whole thought in the conversation behind that. Or if you want just the really quick, important things of this, we turn those into shorts.
Well, and I think that for our clients or anybody that's viewing this, if you're interested in podcasting, what I would suggest is to contact us, and we can do a singular podcast, cut it up into shorts. You can spray that out onto your social media, see how it works, see how you like it. We're not going to lock you into necessarily a 12 episode podcast where we've got to go full bore on this, but it becomes just an interview with questions that you want your audience to know. You want your clients to understand.
Yeah, and sometimes people do have a lot of information that they want to get out, and they want to create a series out of it, and that's great too. We've had that happen, and we've done well with that. So I think both ways really do work.
Yeah, I think that there again, it's the main ingredients is the video. So however we capture that, if you come into the studio or we come to you, we want to put you on camera, you give your story, you give your questions and answers, and then we cut that up and you have 20 social media clips out of a half an hour conversation.
Right.
And you're well on your way to using more video. So if your social media is lacking in video, or you think that, I wonder what it would be like to use some more video, reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk to you, sit down with you, and give you a proposal.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Dakota, for sitting down with me and talking with me.
Yeah.
It's been a great conversation.
It has.
And thank you for watching from wherever you are. So please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.